Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Mindfulness Mondays. This was originally a 6-week class that kind of continued because it looks like we're going to be homebound for another 6 or 7 weeks. But I really enjoyed this. It's been a great 6 weeks, and now this is week 7. My name is Kevin Davis. I'm mindfulness facilitator trained at the UCLA Mindfulness Research Center, and I'm going to introduce Diana Winston right here, who is the chair and also was one of the trainers in the mindfulness facilitator training. Hi, Diana. How you doing? Uh-oh.
There we go. Hi, can you see me?
Nope. We just lost you.
Okay, hold on. Here I am.
There you go. There you
Hey,
go.
yeah.
So, Diana, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay in light of, everything that's happening, but I feel very grateful for my mindfulness practice during these times, I'll tell you that.
You know what? I have to tell you that when I started this about 6 weeks ago, it was so unnerving, and because of all the uncertainty and the craziness that was going on in my life. And it's interesting for me, and a lot of people who want to call knows about this. My mom passed away right in the middle of this thing when they shut down, so I had to fly back east, and the whole thing shut down. And that's when I started the 6-week class. I said, I need this for me. And it's funny because my wife just said I'm driving her crazy because every week we have to prepare for these things every Monday. And the calmness that we have when we get done, it's been incredible. So the purpose of this week, though, Diane, and the reason why I wanted you to come, because after 6 weeks training, the question is, where do we go from there? I mean, we still a lot of uncertainty. We still feel that anxiety inside of us. So can you talk a little about what Mark is and your UCLA background?
Sure. So I personally have been doing mindfulness practice about 30 years. I started when I left after college, and then I was devoted a lot of time to practicing in different retreat centers in Asia and the US. And then I got trained to be a teacher in that tradition. And then at some point, I was very interested in how could these practices translate out of the sort of like religious context, like they came out of the Buddhist world, and how could they be made accessible to everyone and regardless of background. And so that was when I began to collaborate with a woman named Sue Smalley, who's the founder of our center, and developed we decided that it would be an amazing thing to bring it to UCLA, bring these practices to UCLA. So she and I worked on developing what we call MAPS classes, Mindful Awareness Practices classes. They're 6-week classes, and we have a whole set of them where people learn and go more deeply into mindfulness. We have a research component. So this particular class has been researched about 12 or 15 times with different studies showing impacts on mental health and physical health. And it's been it's just been this wonderful journey to be part of bringing mindfulness out into the West. And Kevin was one of the students we trained as a teacher. We have a big teacher training program where we do that over the course of a year. And it's what is amazing is all of these people throughout the world teaching mindfulness in different capacities to the communities that they're part of. And so I'm delighted to join you today to get to know you a little bit. I wanted to share just for me what I'm currently doing, what I'm working with. And I think probably the things that I'm working with, even though I've been meditating for 30 years, are probably the same things that you're working with, even though many of you are total beginners or maybe just starting out, because it's the same process. And so if you have found mindfulness to be helpful, my first suggestion is you got to keep going with it. Like whether you take more classes, practice on a daily basis, because the first thing that's so important for me is sustaining my regular practice during these times. What's funny, I've noticed, right? It's like somehow, even though we have a lot of time, it's like, where does the time go, right? The days just pass and it's kind of over, and you're like, what happened? So having a time really set aside for us, especially those of us who are working with families, it's really hard to focus on us. So having a daily practice that cultivates like a sense of a connection to yourself, a connection to a little bit of well-being, even if it feels like it's just a glimmer, even if it's like, you sit down and you meditate and all you do is think, but actually you are making progress in a sense. You're developing the habit, and you will start to get benefits over time. So having my daily practice then helps me in the course of the day when the challenging emotions arise. And some of it is learning that simple practice that Kevin's been teaching you, which is like when your mind goes into challenging thoughts and emotions, how do you return to the present moment? How do you come right back? And this is something that I have to practice countless times throughout the day, really. And sometimes I do one of my favorite practices, I'm sure I shared with Kevin, is just when I notice myself getting really agitated or sad, or I ask myself the question, I pause for a moment, I take a mindful breath, and then I ask myself the question, how am I doing now? How am I doing now? And oftentimes, if I can just sense into my body at that moment, like it's actually not too bad. Things are okay. Somebody that needs to unmute, I don't know what the sound is. Odd sound.
No, it's the background.
It's the background. Okay.
Yes.
So
It's a plane flying over.
got it. So in the moment, sensing, like, let's say you're just suddenly you realize your mind has gone off into some kind of anxious thinking, pause, take a breath, and just check in. How am I now? Okay, my body and my feet are on the floor. The thing that I'm worried about has not yet arisen. I don't know if it will arise, but I can come back into this moment. And I know that, and so the return where we start to feel like the present moment is a kind of oasis for us. It's a place, it's a refuge from all of the thinking and all of the emotions that feel kind of overwhelming when we know I could just feel my feet on the floor. That's a great practice, just coming back to feeling my feet on the floor. And then letting the emotions be there. So the next component for me is not trying to push away the emotions, but turning my attention to them. What am I feeling right now? Now, if they're very overwhelming, I don't necessarily need to do that. In fact, if it's very overwhelming, it might be helpful if you can get out and take a walk, call a friend, do things to support yourself. But if you're feeling like, I'm just curious about this emotion, what's happening? My heart is racing, my stomach is clenched, all of these thoughts are going on in my mind. Take a pause, make space for what is there. And often there's like a calming down that can happen as we just allow these emotions to be there, not thinking like there's a problem. And then the third component for me is the component of loving kindness. And I know you've worked on it some in the past couple of weeks. I know you did equanimity, which I think is really invaluable, but not easy, definitely not easy. The loving kindness, you don't have to make it into a big deal. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to send kindness out to everyone in the world, or I have to do it to myself. It's just like in the moment where you notice yourself getting anxious, feeling grief, getting angry at your kids again, you can just pause and take a breath. And I sometimes do this. Some people don't like this, but putting my hand on my chest and just sort of, it's okay. I'll get through this. I'm doing the best I can. And just some words of kindness to me that help remind me that we're all in this very challenging situation. It's beyond anything any of us have ever imagined. And how do we connect with ourselves and find the inner resources to be compassionate with ourselves, to be okay, even in the midst of all of these challenging emotions? And that's the trick. And I'm not saying it's easy. And what Kevin and I, we'll talk to you about is like continuing on so that you have more support, because it's not just like, boom, I learned it once in 6 weeks and now I'm done, right? As Kevin knows, it takes time. But some of these skills are directly translatable right here and now. So I'm going to do a short meditation for us where we connect to some of the principles we just worked with. Okay, sound good? All right. So wherever you are, let's just get comfortable, taking a breath or two. And if your eyes are closed, that's great. If you want to keep them open, that's fine. Just looking downward. And wherever you're doing the meditation is fine. Bed, couch, chair, standing up. Be comfortable, finding this place of ease. And let's connect into our body right now. Notice your bring your attention into your body and really feel your feet meeting the ground. Unless you're on the bed, then you can feel kind of the bottom of your feet touching the bed. But notice, for those of us who are sitting, feel our feet on the ground and feel the connection and the weight of your feet. And if you were to imagine almost like that you had roots going deep into the ground, let yourself feel that like you were a tree. And notice there's hardness and temperature and tingling and warmth. And that whatever you're feeling, this earth can support us. The ground can support us. And when you notice your attention going into scary thoughts, sad thoughts, lonely thoughts, come back to your feet. Take a breath and feel the solidity of being rooted and grounded. And now let's notice our body. Are there other sensations that are happening in your body right now? Heaviness, lightness, warmth, coolness, tingling, temperature, discomfort, comfort. So just notice what's happening in your body and letting your attention go to wherever is kind of calling out to you. And see if as you do this, you can soften a little bit, just whatever you feel. Can you feel it can you be soft? That may or may not be possible. And just breathing, letting whatever is here be here in the physical body, letting whatever is here be here. And now turning your attention to your emotions. Could be to your heart area. Notice what's present in your chest. Notice if there's an emotion here. And there may or may not be. Oftentimes we're not feeling anything in particular, but sometimes there is. So all we're doing is checking in with ourselves. Let's see what's here. Maybe notice some sadness or some happiness or a tension or tightness connected to some anxiety or frustration or longing or peace. So really notice what is present for you in this moment with curiosity, openness, letting whatever is here be here. Can't do it wrong, and nothing you're feeling can possibly be wrong. Just want to make space. And if it starts to feel like, oh, wait, there's a lot of emotion here, bring your attention back down to your feet and feel your feet on the floor. And breathe. And then let's turn our attention towards our mind. Like, what's happening in my mind right now? Are my thoughts repetitive? Have I kind of gotten caught on something, thinking about something over and over? Does my mind feel spacious, relaxed, overcaffeinated, sleepy? What's happening? What is the qualities do I notice are present in my mind? Again, no right or wrong, just what's here, being curious, letting whatever is here be here. Now let's notice our full body and emotions and mind, letting all of this be present. So much of our day, it's easy to avoid, to get away from everything, to distract ourselves. And with mindfulness, we're not distracting ourselves, but we're doing it in a very gentle way. You don't have to force yourself to feel something. You can always go back to your feet or feel your hands. So noticing what's happening. And now I'm just going to encourage you, as Kevin had been talking about, like just to bring some kindness to yourself right now. Whatever way makes sense to you. That could be putting your hand on your chest if you want to. Just offering some kindness. Like, yeah, I am having a hard time. I'm not the only one. I will get through it. And as you imagine sending kindness, or maybe even imagine someone you love sending kindness to you for whatever you're feeling, are there words you want to say to yourself, words of kindness? Say them to yourself. This too shall pass. I will get through this. May I be at ease. And so noticing what happens as you send this kindness to yourself. And if nothing is happening at all, it's totally fine. You can say, for whatever it is I'm feeling right now, may I hold myself with awareness and with kindness. And as you say that, notice your body and mind. Notice what's happening. One last time, feeling your feet on the ground, feeling the support, the stability of the earth below. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes or end the meditation.
Thank you. That was good. Definitely a good way of starting the day. I definitely appreciate that, Diana, and it was good. It was good. Glad to have you here. Now we're going to go to any questions. If you have any questions about mindfulness, about what things we've been doing for the past 6 weeks, if you need to go into another detail or I missed something, just ask. Just write the questions in the question box, and we'll see, do our best to get them answered. In the meantime, as you write questions in there, I'm going to talk a little about what Diana's been doing. If you want to contact her, if you want to join in UCLA, there is a website that you can access. It's on the upcoming slide, Troy. There you go. We also have, she has a day-long retreat that I signed up for coming in this weekend. It is exploring mindfulness and natural awareness, which is the book. Right? She has 2 books out right now. The first book is the Fully Present book, is the one I started on, and I've read so many times about 8 years ago. I mean, I don't know how many years she wrote it, but I read it several times. And I read your new book, Natural Awareness, and it's really, to me, it's the next level up from just being the regular, not regular awareness, but kind of outside of focused awareness, which we've been doing, concentrating on focused awareness. The natural awareness it's really a fascinating book. I have a difficult time with the eyes open though. I mean, whenever I try to open my eyes up, I see the room's not clean. I need to make the bed up, and the floor needs to be swept. And, I don't know how you get around that one.
Well, you don't have to do it with your eyes open. That's one
Yeah,
solution.
that definitely was the more difficult one, but it was. And what I do, I kind of walk in my backyard. So I'll do a certain, like 15, 20 minutes inside and 15, 20 minutes outside. And I really feel more the natural. Once I read the book, the natural awareness started to seep in when I started noticing things a little bit differently. So it is a next level up. So for everybody there who really enjoyed that first 6 weeks and want to go further, this page is a critical page for you. And again, it's available. We can send out the PowerPoint presentation to anybody who wants it. Sign up this week for any, if you want to attend a day-long retreat. The books here, all the books on Amazon, I assume, right, Diana?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. And here's an email address also if you want to contact her. So Now, do we have, let's see if we got any questions here. Let's see. All right, question number one from Renee. How do you keep your mind from wandering?
Well, Renee, if you could see everybody and I said, whose mind wandered during that meditation, you would probably have every single person raise their hand. And this is what our minds do. Our minds wander. And it's a sign of intelligence, right? It's part of what the human species need to do. We're wired to search for threats. That's how the species has survived. And so you can think about our ancestors running from like the dinosaurs or something, right? We've got to we've got to be protective. So when we sit down and we start to meditate, of course our minds wander, and especially during these times where it's so much to think about and there's all these questions and confusion. And so anyway, all I'm saying is it's normal. You don't keep your mind from wandering. What you do is there'll be a moment when you notice your mind has wandered, and that actually is a moment of mindfulness. So when you notice your mind has wandered, you can label it if you want. You could say thinking or wandering, and then gently bring it right back. And it's in that process of bringing it back again and again and again that you build the muscle, essentially, of this capacity to be aware and to train your attention. So it's not a problem, it's part of the process.
All right, now Judy asks, is there a best time for meditation?
It's the best time for meditation is the time that is going to work for you. So, so if I were to say everybody has to meditate when they get up, it may not work. Like some of us are not morning people. We try to meditate in the morning and it's just hopeless. So you want to find the time that's going to be supportive for you. The times that people tend to do it are when they first get up or sometimes before bed. Sometimes people when they finish work or school or something, that's a time that they do it. It's also could be done in the middle of the day if at any point, if you, now that we're at home, you could just pick a time that seems like it makes sense. Okay, before lunch or something. It doesn't have any bearing on the quality of the meditation, other than sometimes of the day you might be sleepy or not. But you can play with it. And that most important thing I'll say is play with it till you find a time that works for you. So experiment.
One of the things with me, I found it was hard finding the right time because I ended up falling asleep more so than, if I didn't find the right time, I ended up falling asleep more so than anything else. One thing that I guess I haven't talked about was the things that stop us from meditating. I know sleep is one. I talked about doubt, but I didn't talk about restlessness. Can you talk about restlessness a little bit?
Well, I was kind of talking about it before, but it's our
Yeah.
mind going all crazy, right? We're just like, we're sitting there and we feel like we have to get up and we're thinking about everything under the sun and we can't seem to focus and settle our mind. And that is a really natural part of meditation. It's not like something is wrong because that's happening. Everybody experiences, even me, someone, I've been doing this a very long time. And when I have a lot on my mind and I sit down to meditate, I have a lot of thoughts going on in there. So, a couple of things you can do when you notice your mind is really restless. One of the most helpful things I think is to uh, just relax a little bit. And if you're in an upright, like a tense position, just soften your position. And I don't know if Kevin, have you done hearing meditation? Have you done listening meditation with them?
Listen to the sounds. That was all. Yeah, we have listened to the sounds, but yes, kind of.
That's a great thing to do when you're noticing you're really restless, is just turn your attention to the sounds around you and don't focus so much on like I have to do this right or I have to pay attention in this way. Just let yourself notice the sounds, and that often can calm the restless mind. But mostly not thinking it's a problem is important.
Mhm, mhm. Danielle says that these sessions helped her so much to better manage her emotions, and it helped her work better from home. So that's a good compliment that we got from Danielle.
Okay, and I know Kevin's doing a great job, so I'm so happy that you have him as a teacher and that he's offering these sessions for you as well.
Yeah, this has really been great. If you want to reach out to Diana, her email address is there. Anybody wants to try out this week, Saturday's class, try it out. It's inexpensive, like $30 or something like that, right? Is that, yeah.
Mhm.
I recommend at least just try it for the morning session or whatever. And after that, there's another one with one of my favorite teachers is Marv. Marv has one like in the first week of June also. So it's a lot of different things. And again, this mindfulness has helped me a lot to deal with all of life's challenges over the past several years. And every time I start to feel anxiety come, I always got to either take one of Diana's classes or take one of Marv's classes or take one of the classes at UCLA. And I've taken a lot of them over the past 3 months. Every time there's one, and I sign up for it. And it's amazing how it just keeps me dealing with there's so much uncertainty that we deal with right now, more than we've ever dealt with before. And mindfulness is kind of the way that we deal with it. So thanks a lot. We have our exercise coming up, our exercise for the week. And every week we have an exercise, and hopefully we've done what this one is, something to try to do at least 20-minute meditation. And when we've had our 5 at 5, to sit through to do a 20-minute meditation. They will, if you start to do in 20 minutes, you start changing to 25, 30, and you never know how much it will go. But at least 20 minutes will make a huge difference in what we're doing. And finally, we have our apps and everything. Oh, go ahead, Diane, you want to say something?
What were you going to say? Oh, you
had a question. Yes.
Oh, I was just going to say, I totally agree with Kevin. 20 minutes is awesome, but if it feels overwhelming and you can only do 5, at least you did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I'm challenging my group here to move to 20 now. They've been doing about 15 minutes for the past couple of weeks. I guess there's one more thing I can ask you about, the loving kindness. The one thing I've gotten comments on more than anything, we did loving kindness 2 weeks ago. They were able to give loving kindness to everybody. When I said turn it around to yourselves, and they said thank you. I got a lot more comments about they had a difficult time doing that than anything else. Can you address that before we say goodbye to you?
Yes. I'm just looking at the apps. I just want to say ours is UCLA Mindful, not UCLA Mark app,
Okay.
but just for that. It is hard to send kindness to ourselves. It's very hard for most people, and to just take it really incrementally, even if it's just like 10 seconds, that's enough. And it's like slowly, again, it's another muscle that we're building up. So if you're feeling like I can't do this, it's too hard, stay with what's easy. You can also imagine someone you love sending it to you, because sometimes that's easier, like your dog or something, or your cat, or so, like having someone send it to you rather than a sense of having to do it towards yourself. And it shifts over time.
Okay. Well, again, thanks a lot, and I will see you this Saturday for how the whole day things. I'm looking forward to it, and thanks for everything, and thanks everybody. Now, there is no class next Monday because it's Memorial Day, but we'll do it on Tuesday. So we'll continue the weekly progress until we're back at work. So I need it. We all need it. So thanks a lot. Thanks, Diana. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Take care.